Have you ever found yourself, gazing up at the night sky or maybe just lost in thought, really grappling with those huge questions? Yeah, the ones that just echo across generations, across cultures. Where did it all come from? What's the true nature of reality? And who or what is the ultimate creator behind it all?
It seems to be a universal human impulse, doesn't it? This deep quest to understand the mysteries of existence.
It really is. And today we're not just like touching upon one such quest. We're diving headfirst into a really profound one.
Indeed. It's that inherent curiosity, that drive to move beyond the surface level and really grasp the foundations of our world that makes these discussions so endlessly compelling, I think.
Absolutely. We all want those shortcuts, right? To being genuinely well-informed, getting those powerful aha moments without, grounding in information.
Exactly. Cutting through the noise.
And that's precisely our mission here on the Deep Dive. We take your sources, your notes, your deepest curiosities, and we unpack them. We try to reveal the most important insights, maybe some unexpected connections.
We're here to help you navigate complex information, getting right to the core of understanding.
And our deep dive today is, well, it's pretty extraordinary. You've brought us this ancient and profound set of texts, all centered around a truly fascinating philosophical and theological dialogue.
That's right. Our mission is to really immerse ourselves in this conversation, this exchange, and pull out the most profound insights it offers on, well, the nature of truth itself, the essence of the creator, and the intricacies of creation.
It's a shortcut to getting informed on a truly ancient and essential human inquiry.
Definitely.
So get ready to stretch your mind with us. We're going to start by setting the stage, exploring the actual process of accepting truth, which, as we'll see, is way more complex than you might think.
It's a journey.
And then we'll dive right into the heart of it. This captivating conversation between a really seasoned seeker of knowledge, a guy named Imran Sabi, and a profound religious leader.
Prepare for some, I think, genuinely surprising facts and some deep reflections that might just shift how you see things.
Okay, let's unpack this journey into accepting truth first, because our sources kick us off by saying it's definitely not a simple yes or no.
Not at all. It's described as a layered, multi-stage process, and it demands significant inner readiness, mental readiness from us.
It's not just about hearing something, it's more like an internal transformation.
Exactly. It's not just an intellectual game. The sources highlight that the very first hurdle, the absolute foundation, is the capacity for active and impartial listening.
Active and impartial listening. Okay.
Yeah, meaning truly absorbing information without immediately judging it or filtering it through our biases or preconceived notions, even our gut emotional reactions.
That sounds incredibly hard. Like trying to listen to an argument about something you feel really strongly about, but with a completely open mind.
It is incredibly difficult, isn't it? Yet this is presented as the essential first step for any genuine truth-seeking, especially with these big philosophical or religious ideas.
Otherwise, you're just hearing what you want to hear, or maybe preparing your counter-argument instead of actually listening.
Precisely. You're just talking past each other, or worse, reinforcing your own echo chamber.
Okay, so let's say you manage that huge feat of impartial listening. What's next? Our sources say the next stage is recognizing the truth.
Right. This is where you identify and acknowledge the truth for what it is, stripped of all those preconceived ideas you just worked so hard to set aside.
So seeing the information objectively, separate from your hopes or fears or past experiences.
Exactly. And then comes what is arguably the toughest hurdle, acceptance.
Okay.
And this isn't just a mental nod like, okay, I get it. It's about integrating that recognized truth into your own understanding, your actual worldview.
Even if, and this is the kicker, even if it seriously conflicts with beliefs you've held for a long, long time.
Especially then, that's where the real internal work happens. It requires a kind of intellectual courage.
Yeah.
And the sources give this vivid illustration comparing it to a court of law.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, even when faced with undeniable evidence, meticulously presented, or an impartial judge whose whole job is to rule based on facts and law, some individuals still rigidly cling to their own positions.
They deny the obvious.
They deny even the most obvious truths because their ego, maybe their identity, or their past convictions are just too wrapped up in their previous stance.
Wow. That really highlights the internal resistance, that personal struggle when we're challenged to actually change our minds.
It's not usually a failure of intellect, right? It's often a deeply rooted human psychological challenge. We get attached to our beliefs.
That courtroom image really makes you think about the personal fortitude it takes to accept something new, something that might just dismantle a comfortable belief. And speaking of deeply held beliefs, our sources specifically say this whole process is even more pronounced when it comes to religion and faith.
Yes, accepting religious truths, they state, demands an even deeper level of understanding and reflection than other kinds of truth. It's not superficial at all.
You can't just skim the surface. You have to be willing to dive into the profound, the
Yeah.
complex.
It's not about just agreeing on the surface or checking a box. The readiness to actually evolve your beliefs is crucial here.
Evolve your beliefs.
Yeah, being mentally and emotionally prepared to accept what seems right and logical, even if it means letting go of long-held past beliefs. Beliefs you might have inherited from family, culture.
And acknowledging previous mistakes, maybe.
Absolutely. Acknowledging you might have been wrong before. That's a huge mental and emotional task for anyone. It requires real self-awareness, real humility.
It sounds like a kind of radical intellectual honesty, daring to question the foundations you've built your understanding on.
It is. Think about how many conflicts, historically and even now, stem from this unwillingness to reevaluate deeply ingrained beliefs. This process asks us to face that resistance head-on.
So it's not just learning something new, it's actively unlearning too, isn't it?
That's a great way to put it. Confronting those past errors, those former attitudes, is presented as absolutely vital to this path.
It's personal growth at a really fundamental level, like digging down to the bedrock of truth within yourself.
Yes. And the reward for this tough journey, the sources say that by acquiring correct knowledge and then applying it, you can build a life on a truly firm, enduring foundation.
That sounds powerful. It moves beyond just thinking about things to actually shaping your life, the blueprint of your existence.
It connects directly to the practical side, how you live, what values you hold. Now, when you're navigating these kinds of profound truths, especially religious ones, the sources emphasize the crucial role of guides and teachers.
Okay, that makes sense. You need someone who knows the territory.
Exactly. They use another great analogy. Just like a judge acts as an impartial arbiter in court, resolving disputes based on law. In religious matters, prophets and messengers serve as essential guides and authorities. Not just advisors, but authoritative sources.
Ah, so they're like a compass.
Yeah,
Or maybe like that seasoned mountaineer leading you through tricky terrain.
precisely. They lead people toward truth using divine knowledge, helping navigate what feels like incredibly complex spiritual territory.
So being aware of their views, their teachings, and gaining knowledge in that field is presented as essential. It's about seeking informed guidance.
Informed trust in proven expertise, you could say, like
Right.
trusting an experienced doctor or engineer in their field. This isn't about blind faith.
Right.
And it goes further. There's a parallel drawn to learning any complex science. You can't just grasp physics or advanced math without a teacher, a guide.
Definitely not. You need someone to give you the basics, the principles.
Exactly. They provide the mental principles, the foundational concepts. These preliminaries aren't the end goal themselves. They're tools, like a mathematical formula or an experimental method.
Okay, so they help establish the right intellectual framework.
Precisely, a framework where you can then place and analyze different pieces of knowledge and consistently arrive at correct, profound results. It highlights a structured methodological approach. You need that scaffolding.
You can't just pick up a quantum mechanics textbook and wing it. These profound truths often need expert interpretation and those foundational principles.
You got it.
Okay, so with that multi-stage process of truth acceptance in mind, which Imran Sabi himself is about to go through, let's dive into the core dialogue.
Yes, between him and this figure referred to as the leader.
Our sources introduce Imran Sabi as, well, pretty remarkable. A man of great skill and knowledge, not just in one area, but across various sciences.
Yeah, he's no novice. This isn't someone just starting out. He's clearly a formidable intellect.
And dedicated. It says he spent years traveling to different countries, engaged in this tireless, relentless quest for the truth about the existence of the universe.
It wasn't a passing interest, was it? It was his life's pursuit, a grand intellectual journey. He wasn't satisfied with easy answers. He wanted bedrock truth.
And he wasn't doing it alone either. His journey involved extensive discussions with numerous scholars, theologians.
Which tells us he had broad exposure to different perspectives, deep engagement with intellectual debate. He'd clearly challenged many minds and been challenged himself.
So he's coming from a place of immense experience, having already explored many paths.
Yet, despite all that, despite his credentials and his search, the sources tell us he still had unanswered questions.
That's crucial, isn't it? Even the most dedicated minds can hit a wall in their individual quest for ultimate truth.
Exactly. And so he comes to this particular individual, the leader, known as a profound religious leader, hoping this is where he'll find the ultimate answers.
It sets the stage for a really momentous exchange, the culmination of years of searching for Imran.
He's ready to put everything on the line.
So, Imran Sabi, ready to go, just states his intention. I will ask my questions. You could almost feel the weight of his journey in those words.
And the leader's response is immediate and incredibly insightful. It sets a crucial precondition for the whole discussion.
More than just, go ahead. Right.
Much more. It's profound advice that frames everything, drawing on those principles of truth acceptance we just talked about. The leader says, ask your questions, but do not be unjust to yourself in accepting clear truths.
Wow. Do not be unjust to yourself. That elevates it beyond just an intellectual debate. It's about personal integrity in the face of truth.
It's a powerful call to intellectual honesty, warning Imran against that very human tendency to resist truth if it challenges your comfort zone or ego. It's like saying, be fair to yourself by being fair to the truth.
That really hits home. And the leader drives it further, addressing that core challenge we discussed earlier. Have the ability to listen to and accept the truth without being bound by the beliefs of your ancestors.
Right. Directly tackling that huge psychological hurdle of letting go of past or inherited beliefs, echoing that point about shedding old mistakes.
It's a call for radical honesty, unburdened by tradition if it conflicts with clear truth. He's prepping Imran to really open his mind, not just his ears.
And Imran Sabi, understanding the weight of this, reiterates his long search. How many wise men failed to prove God's oneness to him?
And what's striking is his motivation. It's not just academic curiosity. It's personal, practical. He wants knowledge he can use in his life, in his thoughts, something foundational to rely on.
Exactly. Not just another theory. His quest isn't intellectual sport. It's for existential grounding, peace of mind.
Right, a foundation for his own existence. And then he poses it, the fundamental question, the ultimate inquiry. I want you to speak to me about the creator of existence, the first creator, and how he was created.
Wow. Yeah. That is a profoundly challenging question. It hits the very heart of cosmology, theology, pushes the absolute boundaries of human understanding, asking about the origin of the original.
The ultimate chicken or egg question for the universe itself. How do you even begin to answer that?
Well, the leader's immediate response is just as profound. It addresses the nature of God in a way that aims to completely transcend our usual human concepts.
Okay, how does he start?
He begins, God is without any limits, width, length, quality, or quantity, and he has always been so.
So right away, establishing God as fundamentally beyond human categories of measurement, dimension, characteristics.
Exactly, emphasizing his eternal, uncreated, incomparable nature. This concept of transcendence is absolutely critical. We instinctively try to use human terms, power, goodness, size, but those are always limited. The leader pushes back immediately.
And contrast that with creation itself.
Yes. In direct contrast to his own limitless being, the leader explains that God created diverse beings, each with varying qualities, quantities, sizes, colors, highlighting the infinite variety within creation.
While underscoring the creator's absolute uniqueness, he exists outside the parameters he set for creation.
Precisely. And then the leader adds a crucial clarification about the act of creation, challenging a common human assumption. He says this act was not out of need, nor was it to attain a position that was otherwise impossible.
Okay, that's huge. God didn't create because he lacked something or wanted something.
Exactly. It asserts God's absolute self-sufficiency, rules out any motivation born of lack, desire for external benefit, or needing to become something more.
We humans create because we lack or desire something.
Right. But the leader makes it clear, by creating, he neither added anything to himself nor lost anything, reinforcing that God is complete, perfect in himself, unaffected, unimproved by his creation. He doesn't create to fill a void in himself.
That concept, creating not out of need, is tough to grasp because all our actions are driven by some need or desire.
It is, and the leader elaborates with a compelling logical argument against it. He uses a relatable human analogy first. He suggests if creation were out of his need, he would have created things from which he could benefit and in great numbers. For the more helpers there are, the stronger the person becomes.
That seems logical from our perspective, right? If you need help, you want more helpers.
It does, but then the leader immediately refutes this, and this is, I think, a real aha moment. He states, but need and want have no limit, and every new creature that is created brings a new need into being.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant. So if God were subject to need, creating more would just create more needs for him.
Exactly. It would expand his needs infinitely, never satisfying them. A never-ending cycle of escalating dependency. The act of creation would multiply divine deficiency, not fix it.
which is totally contrary to the idea of an ultimate self-sufficient being.
Precisely. Therefore, he concludes with certainty, his creation was not out of need. This insight fundamentally changes how we can think about God's relationship to creation.
So what is the reason for the structure of creation then, the dependencies?
Well, instead, the leader explains, he made creatures dependent on one another and favored some over others, not out of a need for the superior, nor out of anger toward the weaker.
Ah, so the interconnectedness, the hierarchies, they serve the creatures themselves, not the creator.
Exactly. It defines the created order as one of mutual support, varying capacities. Species depend on each other, individuals have different strengths, all existing independently of any divine want or benefit for God. It's an inherent order within creation, for creation's benefit.
Okay, Imran Sabi, sharp as ever, then pivots. He pushes further into the internal state of the divine. He asks, regarding the necessary existent, is God aware of himself and his own essence?
And just for clarity, the necessary existent is that which must exist, whose non-existence is impossible. Unlike us, or planets which are contingent, we could have not existed.
Right, so Imran's asking about the self-awareness of this ultimate, indispensable reality.
The leader's response is concise, philosophical, and defines knowledge fundamentally. To have knowledge of something is to negate ignorance of it, so that by negating ignorance, knowledge is proven.
Knowledge is the absence of ignorance.
Yeah. And then the crucial conclusion. But regarding the Most High, there is nothing contrary to his knowledge that you would need to negate it from him.
Meaning, God is knowledge. There's no ignorance in him to overcome or negate.
Exactly. He is intrinsically knowledge itself, so his self-knowledge isn't acquired. It's inherent, uncreated, eternal. The question of how he knows himself becomes kind of meaningless from our perspective, because how implies a process, learning, which doesn't apply to perfect, uncreated intelligence.
That's a huge distinction. He doesn't learn about himself. He just is his own knowledge.
Yeah.
But Imran, still trying to use human frameworks, asks, with what did God know his own knowledge? Did he know his own knowledge through a conscience?
He's trying to apply our idea of self-awareness, where we reflect on our own consciousness. And the leader meticulously dismantles this, showing the logical fallacy, he argues. If it were through a conscience, that conscience must have a limit at which that knowledge would end. So what is that conscience? If I ask you about this conscience, do you know it through another conscience? If you say yes, you have invalidated your own statement.
Ah, the infinite regress problem.
Yeah.
Like trying to find the first domino if every domino was pushed by another one before it.
Exactly. You'd never find a starting point. If God's knowledge depended on a conscience and that on another, you'd have an endless, unresolvable chain. It invalidates the idea of an ultimate self-sufficient source of knowledge.
It's a brilliant way to show our human concepts just break down at this level.
They do. And the leader wraps up this section with a fundamental directive, reminding Imran about the reflection and acceptance needed. Oh, Imran, you must know that before we attribute an action or phenomenon to God, we cannot say anything else, nor can we imagine that he is subject to changes and parts like creatures. Reflect on this and accept what you find to be true.
So human language and concepts are inadequate. Don't anthropomorphize. Don't give God human limits or characteristics. Reflect deeply. Accept truth over your own projections.
It's a call to intellectual humility when facing the incomprehensible.
Okay, so Imran moves on again, always seeking. He shifts focus from the creator to the creation itself. I have a question about the scope and nature of creation. What is its correct definition? He wants boundaries, characteristics of existence.
And again, the leader emphasizes diversity, not a single definition. He explains the limits of creation are multifaceted. He categorizes them based on how we perceive or interact with them.
Like what?
Well, things that are tangible, touchable, feelable, like a rock or a plant. Things that are weighable, having mass, measurable, like a feather or a planet. And things that are observable, perceived by the senses, like light or sound.
That covers the physical realm. But it's more than just objects, right?
Much more. The scope also includes intrinsic properties and processes, the laws, sizes, and order of things that underlying principles, gravity, math, and nature.
Dimensions like width, length.
Yes, and actions and movement, everything dynamic, from star orbits to a wing flutter, and crucially, influence. Change from one state to another, additions, subtractions.
So the constant transformation and interaction that defines existence. It's a picture of creation as this vast, interconnected, constantly moving tapestry.
Exactly. And to really emphasize the lasting impact of this dynamic creation, the leader uses a powerful analogy. When an action ends, its effect remains, like a word that goes and its effect lingers.
Oh, I like that. Creation isn't just momentary. Everything leaves a trace, an echo.
Right, like ripples in a pond after a stone drops, or how one spoken word can change a life forever. Even the smallest created thing or action has a place, creating interconnected effects through time.
Okay, but with creation being so dynamic, constantly changing, Imran logically asks about the creator again. If he is one and nothing is with him, does he not change with his creation? How can a static God relate to a changing creation without being affected himself?
It's a natural question. And the leader provides a clear, essential distinction, reaffirming God's absolute transcendence. He states, God does not change with the creation of creatures, but it is the creatures that change with the change he places in them.
Ah, so the change originates from God.
Yeah.
He causes it, but it doesn't alter him.
Precisely. He's the prime mover, the ultimate cause of all flux, but he remains unmoved, unaffected by the very changes he sets in motion.
Like an author creating a story, but remaining distinct from the events in the narrative.
That's a good analogy. He orchestrates the changes, but remains above and beyond them.
Okay, that's important. So Imran, still trying to get a handle on this, asks, so with what did you know him? He wants a way to define or categorize God.
And the leader's answer is profound in its simplicity, echoing that transcendence idea with what is not him.
By negation, knowing him by what he isn't.
Exactly. It suggests God's essence is so unique, so beyond comparison, that we can only approach understanding by identifying what he is not, rather than fitting him into our created categories.
Like describing infinite space by saying it's not small, not confined, not finite.
Right. Any positive descriptor risks limiting him. And he elaborates. Concepts like will, name, attribute, and everything else similar to these are all created and within the scope of God's management.
Meaning even the ways we think about God, the words, the qualities like merciful or powerful, are themselves part of his creation, his manifestation.
Yes. They're not aspects of his uncreated ultimate essence. They are tools for our understanding, ways for us to relate, but not ultimate definitions of his being.
Our words are pointers, guideposts, but never the destination itself.
Well put.
This dialogue really is pushing into the deepest waters. Imran, having tried defining God by action, negation, relation to creation, now asks the most fundamental question directly. What is he? Pushing for a positive assertion.
And the leader's answer starts poetically, functionally, shifting our idea of light. He is light in the sense that he guides his creatures in the heavens and on earth.
So not physical light like the sun.
No, more like the ultimate source of clarity, direction, illumination for all existence. Just as physical light makes the world visible, God, as this metaphorical light, makes understanding, meaning purpose, possible. He guides creation. He is the principle of guidance.
That's a beautiful, expansive way to put it, beyond the physical. But then the leader sets a boundary.
Yes, a very important one for human inquiry. He reminds Imran of the limits. You have no right to ask for further explanation from me, other than that I have proven his oneness to you.
Reinforcing that some things are just ineffable beyond our words or grasp, and that proving his unity is the sufficient foundation.
Exactly. Once unity is established, trying to dissect what he is further in human terms becomes sort of futile. He then outlines God's absolute uniqueness and eternity again. God is the one and first creator. He has always been one and has no second.
Uncreated, singular, eternal, no beginning, no end.
And he continues describing God by what he is not, transcending our categories. He's neither known nor unknown, neither firm nor ambiguous, neither remembered nor forgotten.
Again, these negations emphasize his unique reality, resisting being pinned down by our dualistic concepts. He's beyond those pairings.
He's dismantling all our usual intellectual boxes. The leader clarifies further. He is not a thing to which the names of other things are applied. He did not come into existence at a certain time and will not last until a certain time.
Completely negating any idea. He's a created entity or has time boundaries, solidifying his eternal, transcendent nature.
Absolutely. He is not based on anything else and does not rely on anything. All of this is before creation, for nothing existed but him. Affirming his absolute self-sufficiency, the ultimate ground of being, the sole reality before all else.
And clarifying our language again.
Yes. All that you apply to him are incidental attributes that express truths about him by which anyone who wishes and has the ability can understand him. Suggesting our attributes are tools to understand aspects of God's reality, ways to grasp him through his manifestations.
But not his ultimate uncreated essence itself. Our words point, they don't define the boundless.
Exactly. That's a key distinction. Then the leader introduces a really fascinating concept about God's will and desire. He clarifies, "O Imran, know that will and desire are one reality, although they have three names."
Unifying concepts that seem distinct to us.
Yeah.
Implying a singular divine intention.
It seems so. A unified intent at the core of all action. And here's where it gets really mind-bending regarding creation. He reveals a surprising idea about God's first innovation. His first innovation was the letters.
Letters, like A, B, C.
Not simply the alphabet we write with. Think more like fundamental abstract blueprints, the underlying code or principles giving rise to all things.
Like algorithms creating a virtual world, or the basic rules governing the universe before they manifest physically.
Exactly, the informational substratum, the very first act of originating existence. It gives profound significance to language, to fundamental units of information, as the very foundation of reality.
That's an incredible idea. Letters, in this deep sense, aren't just symbols, but foundational units of reality, the DNA, or source code of existence.
That's one way to think about it. And the leader details a hierarchical creation process in three stages, from abstract to concrete. First, the first creation is innovation itself, described as having no weight, no motion, no sound, no color, and no sense.
Purely abstract, beyond our senses.
Yeah,
Like the conceptual potential, the divine idea before any form.
precisely. A realm of pure origination. Then, the second creation is the letters themselves. These have no weight or color, but are audible and connectable.
Audible and connectable, that's fascinating. Still not physical, but implying structure, communication potential, like an informational resonance.
Perhaps a capacity for forming complex structures, a fundamental symbolic system, not physical but readable or assemblable cosmically. The bridge between pure innovation and physical manifestation. The abstract code derived from the blueprint.
Okay, that makes the letters concept clearer as an intermediate stage. And the third,
Finally, the third creation. The existing things and realities which are specific and tangible types of creatures with taste and are visible. This is our physical sensory universe, the culmination of the process.
the world we experience, manifested from those initial innovations structured by the letters.
Exactly. Imran, wanting to grasp this, asks, how do letters signify only themselves?
Good question.
The leader's answer is simple but profound, because God did not place anything in them other than their own meaning.
Meaning they have an inherent, pure, symbolic self-reference, not overlaid with external interpretations. They just are their meaning.
It suggests that, an intrinsic, uncorrupted meaning pointing directly to themselves as the essence of communication and structure in their foundational state.
Okay. Imran, still wrestling with divine motivation, comes back to a core question. I ask about the wise God. What does he need? He's really trying to cover all bases.
It's that persistent human tendency to project our needs onto the divine. And the leader reiterates the fundamental principle. God did not create anything out of need for it and has always existed.
Eternally self-sufficient, complete, independent, needs nothing from creation.
Right. And in stark contrast, it is only creatures that sustain each other, and some are born from others. Highlighting the created world's interconnectedness, its cycles, all parts interdependent, deriving existence from each other.
Completely distinct from God's independence. Need is a characteristic of creation, not the creator.
Precisely. That interdependence is the system he established within creation. The leader then describes the manner of creation's sheer, unadulterated power. But God brought creatures into existence with his power. He does not enter into anything, nor does he exit from anything.
Creation by transcendent power, without God becoming physically part of or separate from creation in a way that would limit or change him.
Yes, an act of pure will, demonstrating omnipotence, bringing things into being from nothing without physical involvement. And this power is utterly effortless. The preservation of nothing makes him weak, and he does not become helpless in preserving it.
Stressing his omnipotence, his effortless control over everything. Always. No task too great.
And interestingly, the knowledge of this power is restricted. The leader states, no creature knows this power and manner of God's action except God himself and those whom God has informed, such as the messengers and guardians of the divine order, the keepers of his law.
Highlighting the specialized nature of divine knowledge and the role of those chosen guides in conveying these truths. Some depths are beyond us without revelation.
It underscores their special status. And then he gives this incredibly striking description of God's action, capturing its scale and effortlessness. God's action is like the blinking of an eye or even faster.
Wow.
When he wants something, he only says be, and that thing comes into existence by his will and desire.
Instantaneous, effortless creation. No time, no resources, no struggle, just pure divine will commanding existence.
It's a profound statement about absolute command. And finally, he adds a point about omnipresence. No creature is closer or further from God than another.
Meaning his presence is equally available to all creation, transcending space, hierarchy, equally present and accessible to everything he made.
That seems to be the implication, not limited by our concepts of near and far.
Wow. What an extraordinary exchange. You can almost feel the weight of this moment for Imran Sabi. After all his travels, discussions, finally asking these ultimate questions.
And receiving such profound, seemingly unshakable answers.
The dialogue culminates with Imran's definitive statement, a moment of resolution after years of searching. He just says, I understand, my master. I bear witness that God is as you have said.
It's not just intellectual agreement, is it? It signifies complete internal acceptance. Fulfilling that multi-stage process we talked about at the start, impartial listening, recognition, and finally that courageous integration and acceptance.
His long quest has found its answer, solidifying his understanding, giving him that foundation he was so desperately seeking.
It's the moment truth isn't just recognized, but fully integrated, part of his deepest conviction, reshaping his entire worldview.
What an incredible journey we've taken today, unpacking this truly foundational dialogue about existence, truth, the divine. Seeing a seasoned seeker's quest end in such profound understanding.
It's a powerful narrative of discovery, both intellectual and spiritual. And this deep dive, I think, has offered us some really powerful insights, not just about the divine, but about our own human capacity for seeking and accepting truth.
Definitely. We explored that multifaceted nature of accepting truth, needing impartiality, readiness to shed old beliefs, even ancestral ones.
All for the sake of greater understanding. And the leader's explanations of God's nature, limitless, self-sufficient, unchanging, so distinct from creation, they give us so much to reflect on.
Yeah, those concepts like creation not being out of need, that's really counterintuitive, but so profound. And the instantaneous power of divine will, and that mind-bending significance of letters as the origin of all things.
It challenges our conventional ideas about reality, how it all came to be. Plus, that discussion on how understanding God often involves knowing what he is not, transcending our limited human categories and language.
That's a powerful lesson in intellectual humility, isn't it? Our human constructs, useful as they are, can never fully contain the divine. Sometimes the clearest path is understanding the limits of our own perception.
Exactly. This isn't just ancient philosophy hogged away in texts. It speaks right to the core of how we approach knowledge, how we question, how we build our understanding of the world right here, right now.
It encourages us to be brave in pursuing truth, right? Open to challenging our own assumptions, willing to confront that internal resistance, the ego, the comfort zone that might keep us clinging to familiar, even if wrong, ideas.
Indeed, the dialogue is a beautiful illustration of seeking knowledge with an open mind, a courageous heart, even when facing beliefs that have defined us for a lifetime.
So as you go about your day, maybe mull this over. What does it truly mean for you to accept a truth, especially one that fundamentally challenges your pre-existing beliefs?
Yeah.
And how do you discern reliable guidance in your own quest for understanding?
Keep that thought with you. Let it inspire your next deep dive into curiosity.